everyone, this is Jenn Roswell and Kayla Andrade live tonight. We haven't actually done this since about April. The last time we were Facebook Live, we had about 2,000 members in the group. We're now about 2,600 members.
That is
That's
crazy.
awesome.
We're over 2,600.
Yeah, we have about 400 people waiting to get in the group. We've been quite busy trying to get people in.
Sorry.
Yeah, so for all of the new members, Kayla and I like to try to do Facebook Live maybe once or twice a month, but we actually haven't done it since April, and we're sorry. We've been really, really busy.
We've been advocating. We've been doing some really crazy things lately and trying to, bring some more products and services from companies into the group that are able to give us a discount, and we're really, really excited to see that we have such a growing list of products and services to give you guys.
Yeah.
The dinging is going to be like tripping me out all night.
So we wanted to talk about some issues that we've heard recently on Facebook Live from City News,
City TV,
yeah.
CBC.
I don't know what they're called.
They're pretty much the ones who are doing the hey, let's bring on the tenant issues, but not really touching much on the landlords issues.
Yeah. And we have lots of issues. Let's get that straight right off the bat.
We have a lot
lots
of issues.
So let's talk about topic number one that you and I were discussing before.
City TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got to see a great broadcast, and it did bring a lot of landlords issues to surface.
Yeah.
It talked about the prolonged eviction process that obviously each and every landlord who's been to the landlord and tenant board.
Way too long of a process.
It's one thing that we advocate for, is that we want a quicker process, and I think we got to start trying to get our tenants, or any tenant for that matter, to understand that housing is a very important thing that they need to make sure that they take very seriously and pay your rent on time. Like, don't cause the conflict that you could avoid by just paying your rent on time, right? So it's more of the aspect of us trying to sit back and kind of analyze where tenants come from, but we need to start seeing where landlords come from too, because if you start kind of doing things for the landlords, then it's going to eventually kind of work itself into protecting the tenants and overall. If we ever talk about any type of, tenants, we don't talk about all tenants that are bad. We're talking about the tenants who are abusing the system that is in place, even though the system needs to be fixed and torqued and put in a blender and mixed up a little bit more. Maybe that would probably be the best part there. Yeah. But we want to just make sure that we're coming across not to be very tenants hate it, because we're not. We just want to let people know what the landlords are feeling in this industry and the way that the system is in place. And we understand that a lot of landlords are getting a lot of slack lately because of it's affordable housing is what people are talking about.
Tammy says we look like twins.
We were just talking about that, Tammy. We were
comparing our hair color.
I'm like, wait, I think you're darker than mine. I got three kids. I got to go up topper to the roots. Thank you, Tammy. But yeah, this is just what we do. We try to connect to the members. We try to do as much as we can to connect with the members in the group through our posts and the comments and sharing different type of articles that relate to this industry. We like to show that we're advocating and letting you know what things we've been trying to change, or what different tactics we're trying to take to advocate and to get the landlords' voices out there a little bit more, because we really truly believe that landlords are a part of the solution. They're not the problem. So it's just about kind of letting the landlords, letting the government officials know, this is our view on it, this is our solutions, and we just want them to listen to us. But the one thing that we do have, I have my husband, he's seriously sleeping on the couch tonight. He's trying to get in. Oh, he just needs the light on. Jenn, can you turn on the light? It's just right there behind the curtain. Oh my God, I can't believe this guy right now. It's either him that's gonna come in here right now, or it's the kids.
What's up, Facebook Live?
Okay, yeah,
she loves it.
Oh man, I honestly, this is, I think, why we've taken so long to get back on, because he does this stuff. If you guys look in our group files and you can see our videos that are there, like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Last time we did Facebook Live, I think he asked me where my charger was.
Oh no, he asked me where my charger was, and you told him where it was.
I told him there was one in my purse. Yeah.
And now he just let a whole bunch of bugs in. So anyways, we want to talk about what happened with the city TV. They brought up a lot of different type of topics like landlord licensing, N12 notices, N13.
Yep.
They talked about what tenants can do to really bring concerns to their landlord and how they should do it. They talked about the protest that happened at Parkdale, which was very, very successful, in which they were winning.
I actually don't find that successful. I think that it was a landlord that backed down from something that was their right.
It was.
Yeah, I feel like they just got bullied into it because of the news.
Yes, and I think City TV is definitely making this issue that landlords face and what tenants face a bigger issue than, you know, it is a big issue, but I think they're not taking on the tenant side of things. They're just really just nitpicking, you know, and if you talk to a reporter, and I'm sure some of our landlords in there have talked to reporters, you say a whole bunch of things, you're like, yeah, that was good, but they only take a certain clip of it, and you're like,
it's what they think is going to sell the news the best.
It is.
Unfortunately, crappy landlords are what sells the news.
Oh, they talked about landlords reporting to them and emailing them. It's like, did they get pictures of all the damaged units that come across, and, you know, houses that have boxes and pails of needles that landlords have collected in there. You know, I don't think they really want to bring that story out there, but because of the fact that tenants are coming out to be a little bit more on the
but we're totally in agreement that there are crappy landlords out there. There are crappy tenants out there. There are awesome, amazing landlords out there, and there are awesome, amazing tenants out there.
So we kind of want to sit back and kind of look at what they talked about, and they plan to do this. I think she said weekly. Did you hear that? I think she's trying to do this Facebook Live on CTV about landlord issues and tenant issues weekly. So I'm looking forward to it, because I was literally
we have to
glued
rebut
on
our
my
issues
phone.
with it, like every week too. Then,
dude, I was like, like, what are you? And you know what? It would have been really nice to see the elected officials. They let everyone know that they were doing it. Where were the elected officials to sit there and listen to the system? And it's not too late. It's obviously a public feed, so they were able to
watch it later.
They can watch it later, but it's nice just kind of at least let them know that this is happening. They understand the full repercussions of the system in itself, the Landlord Tenant for the Residential Tenancy Act, and kind of getting their opinion on it. Now, initially, we were going to do a protest at Queen's Park, but after the election, we do have Mr. Beckford in. We're not completely, you know, hey, he's our knight in shining armor.
I don't think he will be, but it's going to possibly stop full rent control.
Well, if NDP got in, oh my God,
we would all be selling.
Let's sell right now. And no one will be buying, so we're stuck with the properties anyways. But for what I can gather from it is that, you know, the tenants already assumed from the what was the group called Legal Services of Parkdale, or Legal Clinic of Parkdale,
something like that.
It was like, so if a tenant has a problem with maintenance, what do? And it's like, oh, gather your neighbors, gather everyone together, you protest, you get all your work orders in. It's like, are you kidding? Like, why are we gathering like that? Like, you can put your work order in, just give it in a written notice, and put it in there.
So what good landlord is going to respond to it, get everything done that they can possibly get done as quickly as possible.
But remember, it's still all about the money. It's all about money. It's all about the rents coming in. If you're paying your rent on time, and, you know, people are taking care of the property. Because if you know, bigger properties, how much damage do they actually get? Not from just the tenants in there, but their guests. You know what I mean? Like,
my biggest building is a 17-unit apartment building, and quite literally, we've only had one tenant in the last 8 years that we've owned that building that has really wrecked a unit.
But like the building, like the hallways, like you just had a guy that was peeing in your hallways.
He wasn't a tenant.
He wasn't a tenant.
I have no clue who that guy was. He just showed up, opened the door, walked in. Like in the summer, we unlocked the front door so that tenants can go into the building. They still have locked doors to get into the hallways of the 17-unit apartment building, but the front door is unlocked during the summer and locked during the winter because we are located near the Cambridge homeless shelter. So we lock it in the winter because we've had people sleeping in the stairwell before. We've had people having sex in the stairwell before. So we just decided.
And you have cameras?
Yeah, we have cameras. We caught it on camera. Yeah. So we lock the doors in the winter now, solved most of the problems. April came around, we unlocked the door, and some guy comes in and pees. Like, you can't help stupid people. So now, unfortunately, for my tenants, they now have to deal with year-round locked doors because some random dude just coming into our building and peeing. Gross.
Like, who cleaned that?
Greg did.
Oh. No. I wouldn't be able to do it. I like for hiring someone, but if you had to hire someone, then you still have to, consider that cost into renting that building and whatnot. But for the simple fact that you got to think of it as a business. As a landlord, I know my customers are my tenants, and I'm not going to be increasing.
Just answering Tammy's question, we don't know who the guy was. He has never been around the building before. None of our tenants have ever seen him before. So we were unable to locate him, and no charges were pressed.
We'll find him later peeing on the other side of the building.
No, the doors are locked.
You lost them now, eh? No, but we want to go back to the simple fact that we have. Yeah, we get off topic a lot.
Sorry.
Like, if I don't know, if you guys like it, you can fast forward. If not, you can log off. But this is what we can do. But and I was walking on Karen, her name just kind of went pop there. She was talking about how the guy used new material on that broadcast with City TV, and like, oh yeah, like it was. I like to see a proper like landlord representation of which is a paralegal, and then someone from a tenant side of things to give,
or even like a actual landlord and an actual tenant discussing their issues, getting both sides of their stories, knowing what's important to each of them, and so that each of them can understand each other's point of views. Because a tenant has no clue what we go through, and we really have no clue what they go through, because sometimes they do have horrible issues where landlords are not giving proper 24-hour notices, or.
And that's a part of the education to the landlords. That's why we've created the groups so landlords know. And it's true. Like, I came from a family of renters. My husband came from a family of owners. So I can totally see what rents are, how high it's rising, what the utility cost is, their car payments or their car insurance, whatever the case may be. It's like, it's an overall, things are getting expensive type thing. But if you get your concept into the landlord not fixing things, the landlord not giving you proper notice to come into your unit, why would they need to come into your unit? It's about fixing something or whatnot. But in overall is that if my landlord wants to come in and fix my stuff, dude, I'm at your time. I know you are a working class landlord, not like the City TV broadcasters, like working class tenants. I'm like, I understand that we have working class landlords and they work full time and they do the best that they can to get the job done and whatever job it is, and they try to do it fast. Like, look at my stuff. Like, you just came to my house today, and what did you find when you opened my door?
Your door doesn't open properly?
The pump went off the screen. So it's like, open, woo, there goes the door. Like, gone. So, I can't call property standards for that stuff, guys. I can just nag my husband for that matter. But
it'll be 3 weeks, maybe, and then Greg will fix it for you.
Yeah. It's great. Vivian. How to stop tenants from smoking inside the house?
Unfortunately, right now, the only thing you can do is have it in your lease that they can't smoke. We have a Smoke-Free Ontario website that you can go to about getting like signs and things to post in your properties so that tenants know that they're not supposed to. But unfortunately, we're at the mercy of the landlord and tenant board to solve that problem. And like it was pointed out in the video a couple days ago, the wait time to serve your N5 for them smoking inside the house, if you had it in your lease saying that they couldn't smoke in the house, it's, I don't know, 6 weeks before you get a date, possibly, if you're lucky.
People are waiting for 3 weeks now for the sheriff, for bloody sakes. But even though you haven't, you have the concept of not smoking inside the house, but a lot of it's going to be about your screening process too. Unless these people are like non-smokers when they move in and they get stressed out, now they're going to take on smoking. Start paying attention to, can you determine if you have a smoker or not? Now, ideally, like if you're a smoker, like it sucks. You're addicted, you can't quit, but for the simple fact that it destroys the inside of the place.
I know, it's horrible. The smell,
I had a tenant, she was
painting that you have to do.
And it's not even just about painting. It's not like you just paint.
No, you have to use the Kills primer to get
was it
that
TSP or something?
I don't know.
And it's like it's in a bucket and you're taking a roller and you're scrubbing the walls and it's dripping down your arms, the nicotine, the chemicals, and it's just like
gross.
oh, and no matter, even after that, you're doing the ceiling and you're doing the walls, you still have a concept that the smell is still in, especially when you're trying to re-rent it to non-smokers. They can still smell it. They can totally still smell it. So when you're getting your tenants inside of your unit to view it for the first time, start paying attention to, like, get in to talk to them, you know, try to figure out if they are a smoker, or, you know, smell them when they walk by. It's like,
when my mom tried to quit smoking, she actually went around smelling smokers because she was like, I missed the smell. So you can definitely smell if somebody is a smoker.
Is smell the smoker? That's the part that really annoyed me, is like, oh my God, I smelled like that. Like, oh my God, like, I'm glad I quit. But then at the same time, it's like, you smell them, you get to find out they're smokers, you get to open up the conversation to be like, oh, I just got smoking. I so want to smoke right now. Do you smoke? You know, you get to kind of.
I actually had showings last week, was it? Yeah.
On my birthday.
Yeah, I did. One of the people that showed up for the viewing said, what is your policy on smoking? And I said, my units are no smoking. And he's like, oh, that doesn't work for me because I have a 9-year-old son and I don't want to leave him inside alone. And I'm thinking, you would rather subject him to secondhand smoke to actually go outside and smoke. So discussing smoking, you do find out if they do smoke. And
sometimes the tenants are very curious. They want to know, can I smoke in here? A lot of the hotels are
honestly, my feeling of him would be that he would have been an excellent tenant. Just he would have smoked in the unit.
I checked the city bylaws. A lot of the bylaws came out with smoke-free units as well.
He was very courteous in the fact that he didn't want a unit that was non-smoking because he knew he wanted one that was smoking. So tenants like that, amazing people. It's just you have to know what the landlord is willing to put up with.
Now we keep jumping into like smoking stuff. It's going to be random with our comments that come up. But back to City TV.
Yes.
It's great that they're doing it. They're bringing a proper housing industry to the light of that it is a business. And I think that that's what the government doesn't see us as that we're a business, but they think that
the reason why they don't consider us a business is because it's supposed to be like a right for people to have
human rights
housing. I completely agree with that. Everybody should have a home, but respect it, pay your bills, and like there shouldn't be issues.
But they talked about landlord licensing inside of this new broadcast, and I'm like, okay, well, if we have landlord licensing, it's great that you want to educate landlords. We have so many Facebook groups now for landlords on Facebook. It's crazy. I'm looking at going to be connecting with the admins to those page and invite them to the conference that's happening for us in October, so that we can start, you know, all being connected on
Everyone
Facebook.
should show up to this conference so that we can all stay connected, fight for our rights together. This is a chance for us all to meet in person, October 21st. 21st.
It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday, Cambridge, Ontario. It's going to be at the Portuguese Club. It's going to be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. There is a charge of $65, but we are going to be able to provide you with an awesome Portuguese lunch catered by the Portuguese Club.
And we have amazing speakers that are coming.
So please.
Knowledge like you wouldn't believe from these people.
From everything, from advocacy to, you know, growing your portfolio to short-term rentals. A lot of landlords now are trying to get into the Airbnb because of the whole RTA. Like they're just like, listen, I'll try anything right now, so I don't have to follow this RTA. We're in the process of trying to get someone from the Minister of Housing / maybe Ford coming down just to kind of listen in on, you know, what the concerns are. You know, you never know what we're going to do. We're going to have surprises to give out to our members, because I feel like that's what I like to do about this group, is that we like to kind of reward our landlords, because you're here to learn, you're here to see what things that you should be doing better. And, you know, taking that initiative, we want to reward our members and see what we can do about, you know, being able to walk out of there with a $250 drill set. Last year was like Blue Jay tickets and drill sets and gift certificates to the restaurant, like, and my name couldn't go in any of it.
I bought tickets.
Well, I really did give you hockey tickets though to the Marlies. Oh my God, the best. Toby's Investments. There. Oh my. best experience of my entire life. So we're really thankful for all of our sponsors of that conference, and we're going to have more sponsors for this conference as well. But we're really excited to. We've been planning it now for quite some time. We have a lot of interest, so it's gonna be huge compared to last year's, and this will be our second one. So we're looking forward to having that. But we always want to kind of take what we can from all of our members in here and make sure that we're providing you with a great time at this conference, because you're going to be with us for 6 hours. So we got to make sure it's entertaining for you.
Last year was extremely entertaining.
It was awesome.
It was amazing.
It was the amount of networking. Like if anyone's in this business, like it's about networking. If you're a realtor, if you're a property manager, if you're a landlord itself, like I get like just how me and Jen met through the Facebook group and ourselves. I'm like, hey Jen, like, hey, you want to come to Facebook Live?
I didn't want to, and now I've been on like 10 of these.
I know. I think today it was like what, our 17th. I think 17th Facebook Live that we're doing.
I said 18.
I gotta count.
This might be 18. I don't know.
We'll count it. But back to CTV. We're never gonna get through the agenda.
And 12s and 13s. They those.
So they talked about landlord licensing. They talked about landlord licensing. If landlords should be required to obtain a license to be a landlord in any probably city of Ontario, because anything that's happening in Toronto.
We do have a few cities that do have them already, like London and Waterloo. And they're completely different landlord licensings.
It's spreading like a wildfire right across.
But how they do it is different in each city. It's not the same.
No, but it's also different fluctuation in requirements
and dollar values they have to pay. Yes.
Right. So if it's all about making tenants safe and making their giving them what they need the checks to make sure the property's safe, because really it's about keeping the property safe and keeping the tenants safe, right?
So why wouldn't we just need to pay some kind of inspection fee to make sure that it's safe
it's not even an inspection fee, Jen.
No, I know. It's like
we have property standards already going.
I don't agree with it.
And that's the thing. We have property standards. Tenants can call the city themselves. They can issue like a report to the city to say, hey, these are my concerns. Property standards will come in. They'll investigate the situation. They give the landlord a big list of things that need to be fixed if that's the way it is, or they're saying, no, everything is fine. That's the way it is. But we're at the point where, like, you know what? Like, I think we're at the point where we have something in place. Why are we creating something that's already there? And we also have the RTA. We have the landlord and tenant board. We have all those forms that tenants can file. They have the option of paying $50 to file that application.
Why is theirs only $50?
Ours is $190. I think it's $175 if you file online.
Yep.
Yeah. Why is that? Same process.
Yep.
Same process. Why? Just because landlords are rich and all tenants are poor? Is that how it is? Not all landlords are rich and not all tenants are poor. There's so many people that want to rent or for the purpose of that they're not staying in one spot, and that they don't have to replace the windows, they don't have to replace the roof, the water heater, the furnace, the floors, the drywall that they just damaged. And that's what landlords are facing right now. I got a few landlords that said that the tenants actually damaged their unit, and then they called property standards to come in and fix it. And it's like, oh, good golly, Mr. Molly. Like, it's the stuff that, when we look at landlord licensing, all it is just feeding the city. You don't really know where the landlord licensing money goes once it goes into the city, and all the requirements that it actually takes to get a license, and what requirements, like in Waterloo, you need to get a police check. So how about the landlords? What if we start doing police checks on our tenants?
I've never done it. But I know that we're allowed to.
Totally. I think it's like $50. I think it is $50 to get a criminal record check on a tenant, because you want to know if like they literally are maybe vicious people or not. I've had a landlord that literally had done an eviction. They were so scared that the police had to watch the property for like 24 hours after, and then a week later they end up seeing this tenant at a local motel, and then a couple of days later, they were in the front page of the newspaper for an armed robbery with a gun. And I was like, yeah, that was like, ooh, you did a bullet on there. Where's the protection? Landlords have no protection. You've seen some articles where like tenant kills landlord. Now, sometimes most of that is in the States, but it's.
Well, it was in Quebec, wasn't it? Like, that's closer to home.
Yeah, I think Quebec. Yeah, I think there was one in Quebec. But we also try to understand that landlords do the best they can with what they have for rent, what they have for property taxes. Everything is increasing for landlords. Property taxes, insurance, your utilities, that if your utilities are all inclusive.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How much did your property taxes go up by? More than 1.8%?
Jeez, I remember initially my building was at about 3,500, and I think we're at 6 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like that part goes up, but we're only able to raise our rent to 1.8%.
Yeah.
But I think our this rent cap of 2.5%, I think it should be based on the building in itself. What you put into it, how much did it cost? Are the utilities included?
Mm-hmm.
Did your tenants move in other people into that place without your authorization? And if they did, who cares? You still can't do anything about it. But for the rental,
I don't know about you, but that kind of annoys me.
because the government, they can not-for-profit housing. You can't move in people. You can only let them stay there for 2 weeks, and then you can evict that tenant because they moved somebody into that rental property.
You could have an amazing tenant. They find an awful boyfriend, move them in, and your unit gets wrecked.
Hi, Bill from Chatham.
You should totally have a say.
Oh, totally. Or reevaluate the price of rent. And if you can't decide on that
Especially
value,
if rent
bring
is
it to the board.
If rent is all inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you got you're having more water being used for showers and flushing. The heat probably wouldn't be anything different. But then when again you have the water consumption that's being used in there, and then you have just wear and tear on the place, and there's more people.
Mm-hmm.
But water is raising like crazy, like 9.1%, I think it was. Like water and sewage is going crazy. So it's about time that you just reevaluate, especially with air conditioners. Air conditioners being put in the summertime, and a lot of tenants are trying not to pay it. So they say this is a fee, but they don't pay it. But what do? Can you go to the landlord and tenant board based on them not paying their air conditioning fee?
See, with the new standardized lease, it has this separate sections where you can right underneath the rent, it says like a blank line, and you can add additional fee for air conditioner, $25 a month. Then it becomes part of the lawful rent.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that you could give them an N4 if they didn't pay it, because with the new lease, it becomes part of their lawful rent that they have to pay
for that month.
That'd
be pretty crafty to kind of work.
You could put lots of
Remember,
things in
we're
there.
not giving you legal advice.
No,
please seek
we're
your
just
paralegal.
talking.
We're just talking. We're just landlords. Nothing. We're not paralegals. We're not part of any clinic. But yeah, it'd be great to see that you can kind of recoup that. But no matter what, if they don't even pay their rent, if they don't pay their utilities, if they don't pay that air conditioning fee, you go to the landlord tenant board, you get the judgment. Now you're going to have to go to small claims court. If they don't have, I'm going to watch my language. If they don't have anything that you can collect from, then you don't take the time to go to small claims court. But
I think you still should, though.
You definitely should. And just like the way that the tenants are in like tenant verification, you can report your tenant's monthly payment history for their rent and the utilities.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you're checking out tenant verification. Sign up with them. It's free for our members to sign up. You get $10 credit checks, and you can report to them on a monthly basis. So I know it takes some time, especially if you have a bigger portfolio trying to report your tenants on a monthly basis. But really try to do it, because I think if we're collecting getting our credit check from one spot, we're going to be able to report in one spot as well. So that way we become a stronger voice.
Tammy's telling us it should be an N5, that we shouldn't consider it as rent. But when you look at the new standardized lease, it says that you can add extra things as rent. So, like if people add parking as part of the rent, why couldn't you add that? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's right.
I think
I'm just saying, why not?
If it is,
because they threw that line in there. So why not?
I think we're taking it one way, and they're going to be
probably
another.
We want to take it in a way that benefits us.
Feel it out. Make
nothing ever benefits us.
Yeah, make the mistake, lose your filing fee and the long eviction process of and then trying to figure it out. But yeah, N5 would it's obviously interfering with the landlord. So that's a lot of people are doing that with the water billing. So landlords who are responsible for the tenants only paying utility bills, we're doing the N5, trying to get them out for that factor. But Vivian, we got to answer her right away before she
I think
goes
Tammy
up.
already answered her question. Is there a way to limit the residents to the only ones named in the lease? And Tammy already answered it and said, no, it's ridiculous. We can't. And we completely agree with Tammy. It's ridiculous that we can't.
Well, for what we have to understand is that we still have to just follow the rules, educate yourself as much as you possibly can. With this new standard lease, we have the addendums that we now have through our Ontario Landlords Watch package. So if you're interested in that, just please send us an email at olwlandlords@gmail.com, subject line lease, and we'll be able to give you some information on that.
We actually got the lease drafted by a lawyer in Toronto.
Cambridge.
Oh, Cambridge. I said Toronto.
Elizabeth Pinto. No,
oh,
no.
Okay, sorry, my mistake.
No, the water billing petition was done by the lawyer.
The lawyer in Toronto. Okay, that's where I'm confused.
Lawyers everywhere. But yeah, we just want to come on and kind of give our 2 cents of what happened with the CCTV, because I think out of all their broadcasts, I think they really maximized on the landlord's concerns and showing how the tenants reflect that. You know, like I think the one fellow was just like, gather your landlords, or gather your tenants, get your applications together, bond together, and 12 notice, don't move out. Don't move.
Well, they don't have them.
And 13 notice, don't move out.
They do have a right not to move. It definitely does say that. Like, completely agree that if they don't feel like it's been given in good faith, then by all means, challenge it.
Challenge it. But if you have a landlord giving you an N12 notice and you think it's really in bad faith, ask the question, why? Because I don't think landlords want to kick out someone who is keeping the place clean, who's paying the rent on time, and very understanding of any type of maintenance requests that they need and when it gets done. You know what I mean? I think a lot of landlords are using the N12 notice for the simple fact that the N5 actually takes a long time for it to, like, how many N5s do you need to really get a strong eviction? How many N4s do you need to get a strong eviction on the N8?
It depends on the adjudicator. You're going to get a different answer with a different adjudicator.
And where are these adjudicators? Who are they? What are they all about? Are they siding with, because the CCTV broadcast, they already assume that the adjudicators side with landlords.
And us landlords think that they always side with tenants.
We have a problem here.
Yeah.
So
who's right?
Who is right? And why do we have this bloody board in the first place? Like, they're racking in the dough, and there's more landlord applications that are coming across than tenant applications, without a doubt. And more tenants get more free legal advice than the landlords. Landlords have to pay out of their butt to keep getting their legal, especially when they screw it up themselves. Then we now got to get a paralegal to do it. And because we screwed it up, they got to do more work. So now it's a higher fee for them to do it. Like, how are we not, saying, hey, like, we just want fairness across the board. It's got to be an even type of playing field. And the only way to do that, you're laughing at Tammy, aren't you?
No, I'm laughing at your husband.
Oh, what did he do?
He says, hi, Jen. Hi, Eric.
What about your wife, Eric? So rude. Yeah.
I'm more important, Tammy.
You're not important. He just totally saying hi to you and ignoring his wife.
It's because before we went live, I said, I really like it when you join, Eric, so maybe you should join in and say hi. My fault. Sorry, Kayla.
Whatever. So they got the N12 notices right there. Why are they giving it to you? It's not, if you really think it's in bad faith, it's because you're being a crappy tenant. So smarten up, pay your bills, make sure you keep the place clean.
The thing with N12s and N13s now, you can't even give them if you're owning a property in a corporation. So I would think less are being handed out than before. And
because of the corporation type of thing.
Yeah, and city news is all about they're using them even more now. And I'm thinking, there's no way. Like,
there's got to be less. There's probably more. A lot of people get into the corporation side of things just for finances. So you got your smaller landlords just doing it because of the finance part of it, and then you got the ones that are just, it's honestly just makes sense to become a corporation based on their advice from their accountant, right? So it is probably a lot less than actually more for the N12 notice. And then the N13s is like, landlords use this as, or an investor uses rental properties as a business. So if you can enhance your property and create more rooms or create like a big roof on the place or whatever, major renovations, we're still having to offer that unit back to the tenant at the same rate.
Yeah.
So if we're using N13s as rental evictions, but landlords technically are supposed to still offer it back to the tenant, then is the tenant leaving their personal information?
The thing that I don't get about that, though, is Like,
Why?
how are you supposed to get in contact with them? I don't know about you guys, but I have some tenants that change their phone numbers like they change their underwear. I didn't mean that to be. I was totally serious.
It's true. It's just the whole. Yeah, they do. They. Why?
So how are you supposed to get in touch with them? We're not allowed to email them.
Yeah, they know our number. They know our address. They can go to the city and say, "Hey, what's the owner's address or the owner's information to this address?" Like they always have a way to contact the landlords, but landlords have no way of contacting tenants when they leave.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we have a system in place. Yeah, we have the small claims court, but you need to serve the tenants their paperwork at their new address. And half the time, if there's any conflict or misrent, obviously they're not going to give you the proper information before they leave. So why can't we have a system in place in which they're going to be we can communicate with them and serve them the proper notice? Like, can we have access to their new address through their driver's license?
What about you? But I've done let's follow the tenant when they're moving. We've done it a couple of times.
Dress in black.
Yeah.
Can you call me on your next one?
I did on the last time. Remember?
Oh, you and Kayla went though. That wasn't. I didn't get included in there. Did you? You found out where they?
Not with me driving, because apparently I am not a good driver to follow people. But after they came back for their second load, Kayla went and she followed them successfully and found out where they went to.
No, I don't believe the small claims court.
Yeah, don't ever ask me to be the driver. Not good at it.
So we got the landlord licensing down path. They're obviously just creating a wheel that's already been created. They got the N12 notices that I'm telling you, landlords are not using it just to get their rents quite up there, unless they're trying to sell.
There are some bad landlords out there that really just are in it for
the money, just to
the money and trying to get higher rents because they're getting ready to sell or things like that.
Because if you have your building for sale, what am I going to do as an investor? I'm going to look at your payroll, and if your payroll and your rent tenants are really, really low, I'm not going to be offering you a lot of money for that unit. Yep. Even though you put a lot of money into it, I'm still not going to offer you enough because the numbers don't work. Right, so I can see a lot of people now probably trying to take advantage of the hot market and using N12 notices to see if they can get away with it to sell their market. But then again, this is where the rent increase situation comes into play, and because
everybody should be getting rent increases every year, even if you think you shouldn't, because you think that your tenants are wonderful and
you want them to move.
In 5 years, your tenants are going to have below market rents. Give them a rent increase so that you can at least keep up with your bills. I don't know about you, but I don't have all the money in the world.
Working class.
Yeah, still have a job, still have to pay all the bills. I put my own money into the rentals. Like, we don't make extra money that we can use to renovate. We use our own money when we do renovations.
And a lot of people don't. When they buy properties, they're paying out of their pocket to pay for the mortgage stuff. Yep. Like, I don't know why.
You need to give rent increases. One, it'll help you when you go to sell the unit in 10, 15, 20 years because your rent won't be below market. We purchased a building a few years ago. The rents for townhouses were all like $700 a month. Townhouses.
And now in this area, you're looking at townhouses, 1,200, 1,400. Like, there's apartments, 2-bedroom apartments now going for $16.
Yep. And
the new development of the luxury items are going for $1,800.
Yep.
Right? If they want to start working with landlords and starting to work out some type of incentives to get the rents low, what would you consider to be incentives, and what can you how would you try to create a plan for affordable housing? Like, number one, I would think anyone from on the system of OW or OGSP, I think the rent portion of that check should be automatically given to the landlord, even though these people are qualified. They're qualified to pay their bills.
Should not ever, 100% never be able to be stopped by the tenant.
Unless there's an N9 or an N11.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's pretty fair. This will keep people from taking that, you know, if they're desperate and they don't have the money.
And in case people out there don't know what those are, the N9 is the tenant form to give to landlords for notice to not wanting to rent anymore, like their 60-day notice that they're giving you, or the N11 is a mutual agreement. Usually the landlord gets the tenant to sign that one, but it's the mutual agreement that the landlord and tenant are both agreeing that the tenancy is going to be ending. I don't know about you, but I always, anytime a tenant gives me 60 days notice, they text me. I show up at their door and I say, please complete this.
It will open up the door to so many people knowing that the check cannot be stopped. Because I think landlords have a problem with that because the check can stop. We are now in a delinquent status. Now the tenants are now going to Lutherwood or rent banks, and they're now taking more government services to bail them out from not giving the payment to their landlord. And it would save taxpayers as a whole, just making it sure that it's mandatory that they're giving it to the landlord. And that will keep more people in their homes than on the streets and in the shelter.
Landlords from wanting to give N12s, because I for sure know that I would rather rent out my house and move into a rental property for a year. I would definitely do it if that tenant was not paying and I was not getting a judgment that I needed. I would definitely move in there for a year.
And so if we have this place, and we're going to open it up, right? So we got that one as an initiative.
Yep.
Landlords who are applying for the government, they can apply to the government and say, these are my units, these are my rents, this is my utilities, here's my bills, and this is what I would like as for my rents, you know? But I think the government should be giving some initiatives or some rebates or something towards the hydro, the gas, the utilities, the property taxes, something that would help them offset their costs so that they can make the rents lower but still make money. This is not a business where we're not here to make money. Every single person that gets in this, they want to make money, so the government still needs to help that landlord still make money. And just because you're keeping our units to fill, that's not us making money. We need some type of incentives to give back into the
One of my building's property taxes is over $30,000.
That's retarded.
Yes.
Like, so if you get the utilities and you're getting the utilities into a part of an incentive, you're going to open the door up. Now, the government is talking about secondary units. The secondary units are going to be, that's going to help. That's going to help. But I feel that the government's created a tug-of-war position. We have the province saying, hey, we need to have secondary units, but over here we have the Residential and Tenancy Act. So we have homeowners who are like, I really want to create a secondary unit. I want to make some money. It would help us out. We can save some money for a trip, whatever. But when you look at it as an investor and me being a single family homeowner, I'm like, okay, I want to rent out my basement unit. What do I need? Okay, I need fireproof this, I need fireproof that, I need to have the smoke detectors, the bigger windows, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is how much it's going to cost. Okay, got that down. Now, what is it going to be a landlord? Then they find our landlord groups. And they're like, oh my God, do I really want to be living above a tenant that could be doing this to me? They're not going to want to. So you got to have the secondary units, but you need to create a system that landlords, investors are willing to work with, and they want to be a part of that rental industry in itself. Or even creating some type of subsidy program where this is what I want for my rental unit. This is what the government is looking for, affordable housing. Meet in the middle. So if the tenant can afford this much, then the government's going to be able to issue this much more money to me to meet my standards of what I want for market rent, right? So, because it's going to be a lot cheaper than the government building their own government housing. It's going to be cheaper for them to manage and run their housing, and as well as the maintenance costs that it results into creating government housing. Like, Toronto Housing is like, they have more complaints than anybody because they don't have the funds to maintain their building. So start working with the private investors in a tight relationship instead of against them. Because with the new Rental Fairness Act that came out, that was it. Like, there was
a lot of people that sold.
A ton of people that sold. I know a few of us in there. Now, if you are willing to sell your rental property, we have created OLW properties for sale. So come in there before you want to hit MLS, or if you have a realtor and you are a realtor and you want people to see if our members are able to get some information about that, because it's still a really good industry to be in. It's a really good retirement plan. That this is what we use it for. Where it's a retirement plan. We got into this. I got into it at 18. You got into it at
22.
22. So like it's not hard to do it, but the way that the market is and how hot it is right now, it's now to the point where how do you expect us to buy a $500,000 property based on like our interest with the bank just went up? Yeah, we're all gonna buy properties for that, and then go ahead and get yourself roped into this mortgage that you have to pay, but only give out rent to like $800. Like it's the numbers don't work, and I think they're trying. The government wants us to work for them with no compensation.
They were completely talking about affordable housing.
Oh my God, we're on this for 45 minutes.
The fact that rental units in Toronto are not affordable. Have you seen how much mortgages are? No wonder they're not affordable. Nobody can buy a house there for under what, like $1 million in Toronto? Like you.
And then you get people in Toronto saying, hey, it's unaffordable, it's unaffordable. Well, just like Cambridge right now is unaffordable for me, I'm now looking elsewhere for investment. Some people need to start, either stay where you are, locked into your rent control, or if you start to move, you now need to start moving out of the city. Like, it's like, why is people so like, gimme, like, work for your.
I think it was like
myself there.
7 years ago or 8 years ago, we bought 17-unit apartment building for like 1.16 million, and we could probably sell it for almost 3.
But you're not selling it.
No, definitely not.
Because you're working it as your retirement fund. Do you have? Well, you do have a government, a work pension now, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, you're not a part of that club anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have that. My husband doesn't have that.
No.
Yeah, we can't talk no more.
Okay, we're no longer friends.
So we got that concept of some type of initiative there. We have the part where, the residential intensity act needs to be changed, landlord and tenant board needs to be changed. Give us some free legal services so that we don't have to calculate that into it. We do have the government programs that with our new upgrades and stuff with the furnaces. And
no, we don't have that anymore.
No. It's gone. But you know what? It doesn't mean that they can't bring it back. It's just right now they need to save some money, right? I think
that's totally true.
I think that's where the government is going on. They're cutting stuff that people are like, oh my God, we're cutting it. But you know what? Just cut it now, but they might be able to introduce it in the future in which,
I don't know. The good and the bad with voting in Conservative is they don't like to spend money, which we need because we've had too much Liberal spending. But they're not going to bring in rent control.
But they're very business oriented, I find. They're very business. It's about, like, the one thing that I got from the campaign was we're open for business. Well, you know what? Landlords are a business, and we want to know, are they open to our business? If not landlords, they're going into other provinces, and they're going into the States now.
Yeah, we talked to
Glenn
not too long ago.
Glenn's in the group. You can talk to him about investing in the States.
He's very knowledgeable. I learned a lot from him.
Sutherland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
No, I think you did. I don't know.
I think so.
He's amazing, full of knowledge. Told us about rentals in the U.S. and how you can make money in different states, and he gave us a list of states.
I wrote notes
that were more beneficial to landlords, and I wish Canada had that too.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways that they can work with this to create affordable housing. Right now, there's so many, like, there's a affordability issue. Then they have a housing issue. Then they have a drug issue. Every province is going through this right now.
Yep.
But sometimes to get people off the drugs, you need to get them off sleeping off the floor.
Yep.
Get them sleeping off the ground. But if you are not giving us support to deal with these people, to get into the units and help them, and they're just kind of going to stay there.
Yep.
But for what it is for OW and ODSP right now, ODSP I think is pretty good for the rent part of it, but OW doesn't. Like, such a fluctuation of how much money one gets and
I have a few tenants on both of them, and they're able to pay their rents.
Oh yeah, like
there are excellent tenants that are on it. Like, my mother was on disability when I was growing up, and one thing she always told us is before there was food on our table, our rent would be paid. Mm-hmm. And we need to think that there are more people out there that are exactly like that. and that they think that having a roof over their kids' house, over their head, is more important than anything else, and that they will make sure that their rent is paid. And I do believe that because my mom was like that.
Well, you can't pay your utilities if you got no place to pay your utilities for.
Yeah.
I think it's just a common sense factor that our elected officials are not seeing. And we're looking right now, I want to give, we've contacted the Ford Nation from Facebook, told them, we're a group, we're over 2,600 members. We've been advocating for landlords' rights since 2010 and constantly advocating. And we want to have a formal sit-down meeting with him, his staff, and the Attorney General's office to talk about the issues as well as the solutions to this housing crisis that they have. And the one thing that the landlord associations all over Ontario have done, a few of us have, and I'm going to be able to post a link now shortly after which landlord associations are doing this, but we're now in a group of ourselves that we're going to be talking to the presidents. All of the presidents are all together, and we're going to be bringing these concerns that each and every member in this group has.
And members of other associations. There are some people out there that don't know about Ontario Landlords Watch, and that they're a part of, in our region, it's RAMA.
Yep. Going to be meeting with RAMA on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to talk with RAMA. We already speak with Hamilton. Hamilton's on board. We have Sudbury on board. We have the North Landlords on board. We have London. There's so many landlords associations now that they've been doing it, but I think we're all disconnected. We're all disconnected because landlords are all in these different type of landlords associations, but the landlords associations are not connected.
And the whole goal of Ontario Landlords Watch is to bring everybody together,
to fight it, to talk about it, to deal with it. We're not here to talk about the bad tenants. We're not here just to come on and say that, rah landlords, we're awesome.
Some of us aren't. Some of us are.
I'm awesome.
Yeah, you are.
I am. I'm just kidding. So we're going to hopefully bring some more information to you about the landlords associations coming together and meeting. Hopefully that we'll have all of them at the conference now coming up in October. Because this way, if you're a part of their area, you want to meet with them. You want to go to your local events. We try to do our local landlord meetups, and it was great, but it's very, very time consuming. We do have our newsletter that we have to go, that gets put out every single month. That takes time to kind of put together.
Yep.
We're getting our products and services to you to get you some discounts as much as we can. Anything that you need in this industry, we want to make sure that we're providing it to you. And most importantly is that we're going to be doing our best to talk to all of these new MPPs and the new Minister of Housing. I find that they changed the Minister of Housing so much. It's like you finally get the issues, you start thinking of solutions, and boom, you get a new one.
But the nice thing
Remember
is,
Kathleen when she was one? That's when I started hating her.
But the nice thing is, changing them might bring new thought process to it, and somebody that's willing to work with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, sometimes I think them changing it might be a good thing because the person's not doing their job, not working through
just like the election coming up in every municipality now in Ontario.
Yeah.
Make sure you're talking to your candidates in your area. Talk to them about your issues.
Yep.
But make sure you think you're voting in someone that's going to speak for you and not just go with the flow. And I think that's what's really important. I was going to run for the Cambridge councillor, and I'm like, I got too much stuff on the go. I can't. I'm running as a councillor. I just don't get paid as a councillor, and I don't get the free invites for the dinners and the events and stuff. But that doesn't bother me. But I wanted to get out there, and I still wanted to try and make a difference. But make sure that you're making this an election issue, because housing is going to be an election issue on a provincial level, a federal level, and a municipal level. So make sure you're talking to.
It's a huge one in your municipality.
It's huge. That's
Yeah.
one of the most important, that's the most important election that you could probably think of as your municipal. But more people are in tune with their provincial election. I think it's just because you got the leaders and whatnot.
Yeah, don't be like I used to, where I used to vote for, hey, I recognize that name, I'm just going to vote for that person.
Yeah, a new face.
Find out what they're for.
Because you know what, they're going to have a different view. You have someone in your council that's been there over and over and over again, and you might know them, and they might be really, really nice, but you know what, sometimes it's about changing them up so that we can have a fresh new vision on your city to make fresh changes that are needed. And I think it's kind of like when your kids are doing homework. You're like, okay, if you're getting frustrated, just, go away for a little bit and then come back. right? And that's the type of mentality that I think a lot more people should be working on. Martin, problem in Kingston is we haven't. Oh, sorry, Martin. He's got NDP. Don't give up though. We can kind of convert them into
convert the NDP
to not be NDP. And you know what? It was great. Like NDP, they're reaching out to the people who
well, they are for people. They're spenders. They're
for the people, but they're going to dive everybody down at the same time, right?
I'm so glad they didn't get voted in.
What's that saying? Help. Give a helping hand, but not a handout, or something like that.
I don't know.
Give a hand up, not a handout. I think that's where it needs to be. And that's the motto that I think a lot of each councillor should be working with from any type of levels of government. But I think that's what you really need to be, is about helping them up, and then instead of just giving them a handout, instead of giving them the tools that are needed there. But for what we have established our group, I think we all should be proud of ourselves. Like there's over 2,600 people in this group. You have done an amazing job. There's over 13,000 post comments and reactions in a 28-day cycle. Well over 300 new people that are coming in on a monthly basis. And I think all we need to keep doing is sharing us and any other landlords association that you can think of, and just all be on the same page together. Because I think if we all start kind of working together and we're all speaking the same lingo, and we might actually kind of get out there a little bit more. Yep. We're doing the best that we're going to be doing now with, contacting these elected officials and bringing these landlords associations together so we can talk about the real concern here, because there is a happy medium. There really is. And I think if we really just sat back and just looked at a bigger picture, but because of the election that was coming, I think a lot of people were very afraid to come out and speak out because they thought that the tenants wouldn't vote for them then. But for the tenants, and from what we heard from CTV News, it's like, oh, God, no. And that's not the way to kind of work this. Like, you really just need to, pay attention to what your landlord's needs are for the property. And then they can have an understanding. But landlords are not all vindictive and evil, and we're not all rich, and we're not all looking to, get rich really, really quickly. I
don't think anybody gets into real estate to get rich quickly.
No.
Yeah.
At all.
I think I put out more money in the first few years than we made in rent. Like,
I think they can so hear my kids running around in the kitchen right now.
That's okay. We should probably wrap this up soon because we're coming up on an hour now.
Oh my God. See, we haven't been on for such a long time that we're probably doing it. But everyone, I just want to give a little shout out here to Just Young. They're going to be able to give our members a 5% discount. We have Humber View Insurance. Just connect with them because each property is going to be different, but they will do the best that they can to be able to reach out and meet your budget that you're looking for. Papa Luck Canada, they're pretty much stretched all across Canada, so if you're going to need that Papa Luck, especially when the sheriff comes, please reach out to Papa Luck. And I love the name. I love it, Papa Luck. So just connect with them. They have a 5% discount for you as well. Tenant Square, they're offering our members a 10% discount. They do credit checks as well as property management, and they're usually in the Ancaster area.
I use them actually for reporting a debt that a tenant owed on their what do you call it? Their credit. So,
nice. So you can report to them.
Yep.
We have tenant verification. Our members, like I said, are getting $10 credit checks, and you can also report your tenant's monthly payment history for rent and utilities. Our newest one is unlimited residential living, property management services. They're actually reaching from London and St. Catharines and Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo. So reach out to Unlimited Residential. We have just recently put the link to their Facebook page. We're really pretty big on Facebook, so go over there, give them a like, just let them know that you appreciate them coming on and giving us a discount that you're going to be able to be satisfied with. We have assembly services and assembly appliances. Our members there get 10% off of their appliances and their services because they do some handyman services as well. We have Samson graphic design. They're going to be able to help you if you're a realtor and you need new design things. Contact with Samson Graphic Design there. Our newest one we have infield fire protection. Great, you guys need to. That's the one thing that tenants usually do is if they're giving them an N5 notice, you're giving an N4 notice, they're calling the fire department. So make sure you're protected. Make sure you got your inspections that you're needing, or if you're doing a new build, you're doing secondary units, give them a call up. They'll be able to give you some assistance. And we have Barry Property Management. So connect with Barrie Property Management for your property management needs in Barrie. As well, we have Gasco Heating and Cooling. They're in the Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo, and Brantford areas. So if you need furnace, water heater, we have Enercare, same thing. They have suite metering. So if you're looking at taking your property and you want to make it where the tenants start paying their own hydro bill, consider talking with Enercare just to see what your options are there. And remember, we're just letting you know about these people. We're not coming out here and saying, hey, you know, they're the best, you know, go to them. Just do your due diligence. Make sure that you're checking them out as well. Ask the questions that you need to ask. And we do thank all of these companies for helping us go ahead and, you know, keep running this Facebook page as much as we can. And we have Richard from, oh, look at that, from Barrie Property Management. He's just logged on there now. So check out Richard there. Adam as a friend. Like, I think a lot of our members and the people that I connect with, we're friends on Facebook, and I think it's great to, you know, really connect one-to-one, not just in the group in itself. Yep. And just remember that do whatever you can to keep contributing into the group. Contact us, you know, email us, bring in a post. You find an article, give it a post. You find a funny picture, give it a post. We really want to make sure that we're here for your online one-stop shop, and that's what we're trying to become here. But tonight I want to give out something because we haven't given out anything for a little bit. But
no, I guess people that are new to our group don't know this, but every time we do a Facebook Live, we get a company to sponsor a prize, or we give out a prize. So this one is actually going to be sponsored by
Samson.
us.
This one's Samson Graphics Design.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Samson. Sorry, she didn't tell me this before. Sorry. But we have a $50 gift card for someone, but we haven't decided how we're going to hand this one out.
Normally, we ask our members to give us a Google review on Facebook, just so that people who are just not knowing what we're all about before they try to come in, they want to know if you're happy with what you see in the group and you're happy with how we run this thing. So usually we try to, you know, pick someone from there, but we've kind of done this like, hey, I got some time. Jen, do you have some time?
Yeah, okay. We literally decided like 2 hours ago we were going to do Facebook Live tonight.
You don't have to tell them in real time.
Yeah. So how about tonight? Just leave a comment here about what you think is great about Ontario Landlords Watch in this video, and
yeah,
we're gonna pick one, and
we'll put whoever puts a comment, or give us a review. If you can give us a review in the thread, or you can give it to us on Google review, or even Facebook review. Or people are seeing Facebook reviews or something.
Yes,
good.
Post in the next 24 hours what you like about Ontario Landlords Watch, and we will
put your name into the draw.
Pick a name, and we will announce it tomorrow night.
And the $50 gift certificate is your choice. We want to make sure that a lot of people are like, hey, you know, we can give out our services, but we're like, our landlords work hard. We want them to have a night out at the movies, you know, help them out with dinner, because you know you can't get dinner for two now for $50. But we're next Facebook Live is going to be a little bit more. So please give us a review on Ontario Landlords Watch, Google review in this thread or on Facebook, and we'll put your name into the draw, and we'll be able to come back on, and we're going to announce who's going to be able to win it. And also, I believe we have a book. I'll double check on that one, so I might be able to have the book being able to be sent out for you as well. Well, for right now, we'll probably be able to sit here and talk again, because all the members in this group, you know, if you talk about real estate, you talk about the residential tenancy, I can landlord tenant board. We're going to be able to talk
here 24 hours or more.
But check out OntarioLandlordsWatch.com. This is where you'll be able to put your information in to be notified for the registrations for the Ontario Landlords Watch Conference, October 21st, 2018.
We're so excited to meet all of you.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. We're looking at possibly doing the after the event networking, which we can open up the bar. I haven't gotten confirmation on that yet, but I think it might be able to be possible. So that will be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. and after 6 should be an after conference networking. Remember that the price is $65 a ticket. You do get your meal there, and you also get some tickets to go through for the prizes that can be drawn. And we look forward to anyone who is wanting to sponsor a prize for this conference as well. So please email us at olwlandlords@gmail.com. Yep. And until we meet again and do our Facebook Live, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being a part of the group, and happy renting. And